Although Japan is known as a homogenous country, there are people of color who have traveled beyond their comfort zones to shape narratives on the Black experience.
I am from East Africa. My mother is Eritrean and my father is Djiboutian. I moved to Japan in 2010. My initial plan was to study fashion, but then I changed my mind and studied art.
My job had an opening to come out here to be on base at Yokota, and I submitted for it. I'm not gonna say I knew everything about the culture, but I was pretty well versed on the fashion houses, the geniuses that come from Japan, the artists, even the anime. A lot of my favorite things are Japanese. Some of my heroes are Japanese, and people I look up to for what they've contributed to, culture, to fashion, to art, to, anything that I'm interested in. So coming out here, it was easy. It was too easy.
I'm from Ghana, United States of Africa. One of my friends came to Japan, and he told me, why don't you come to Japan to see how the Japanese life is? It's fun. And I decided to come to Japan. That was 1998.
Well, it started off like most people. I got into anime. Every dude coming up in the 90s, we watched this segment on Cartoon Network called Toonami, and it was just all Japanese anime. So the Dragon Ball, the Sailor Moon, Yu Yu Hakusho, all of that. That's what it started with. But as I got older, I got into Japanese fashion. And at the time, Bape was real big, so that's kind of what started off. And through Bape, I found out about this rap group called Teriyaki Boys. Yeah, it just went from there. Just got deeper and deeper into Japanese culture as I got older.
The first time I came in Japan, the experience, what I have today and back in the days is totally different, Because when we first came to Japan, it wasn't a lot of Black people in Japan, especially the city of Tokyo. I came with the idea. I realized Black people doesn't have like a hair product, hair extension. I've been travel to New York back and forth more than 7 years and bring all the products. We have a lot of Japanese. We try to introduce many Japanese about a Black culture, but the people that love it. And if you take a look at this picture, of course, you're gonna see Black people. And most of the pictures we put it here, you can see many Japanese with the braid, with the cornrow. It's not they don't like our culture, but sometimes Japanese take a time to study, to know who you are.
And it's kind of funny, when I first got here, I heard the term Black music. That's what all music that's made by any Black artist is goes under the umbrella of Black music. And me being from America, like the most racially conscious place in the world, I heard that and I was like, yo, what is this Black music? I don't mess with this. But after a while, I realized like it was just all out of respect. There wasn't any negativity in that term at all.
These people are interested in our culture, very heavy out here. I see a lot of things that we created that they're doing it, and they're doing it well. One of my good friends that works at Great, Yoshi, he's a b-boy. He likes to break dance and stuff, and he doesn't do it to be cool or because it's the end thing now. He genuinely respects the b-boy culture, to the T. So he dresses like one. He's done his research, and he respects. He gives credit to where it's due.
That breaks the stereotypes, about us. When you take an interest in something, you do your research about it, you learn about it. So with that being said, they can really learn to appreciate us.
The thing I like the most is also the thing that I hate. The fact that people don't get into your business, they don't bother you, they don't ask any personal questions or anything.
In Japan, people aren't very forward about what they think. So if they're, having a stereotypical thought, then, I'm not really gonna know it because they're not upfront about their feelings.
For me, it was the first time I was surrounded by so many international people, people coming from all over the place. And being part of that too was something really interesting to me because I started defining myself and talking more about my identity than I did back at home. Because I didn't need to say, oh, I'm Djiboutian. Because of all the images and all the stereotypes people already have about black people. It's good to be aware of those stereotypes, because I wasn't. And I feel like a lot of people here associate African women with whatever they see on TV, starving and sad, struggling. I feel like being black here, I've always been associated with African-American.
Because when an African go to Japanese embassy, it's going to be too much requirement about coming in Japan. They need your bank account, the company you are working, family member, family register. But people from African Americans came to Japan because they don't need visa to come to Japan. It's more easier for them. They just buy their ticket, they came to Japan.
Knowing that, of course, they will see black people and white people differently because they will have a different experience and different interests.
And you can also see it how we reflect it in the media, because everywhere you look, you go to Harajuku, you go to Shinjuku, Shibuya, you look at these advertisements everywhere. It's representative of white people. You see advertisement with white girls, blonde hair, blue eyes. So even if you're not used to seeing it in person, you still see that image, subconsciously. But you don't see black females on posters often. You don't see black men that's not holding a basketball or representing anything other than a stereotype. So you can't blame them, because if you haven't had interaction, you're not gonna know. You're gonna be ignorant.
Most people come here, foreigners like me, but they try to bring their own culture into Japan, and which means it doesn't work with the Japanese people. Like people say, when you go to Rome, do what the Romans do. Brothers and sisters, everybody welcome in Japan. But when you come to Japan, please calm down and study the Japanese language or the Japanese culture.
I definitely can see a difference between, the times where I couldn't speak any Japanese and now. I feel like learning a language is like learning a new culture. So you really get to know more about people, about them, about how they think. It really reflects who they are as a society.
I know a lot of musicians here that a lot of times they're complaining about, Japanese people don't want to work with me, or I can't find anybody to connect with out here. But the people that are saying that are the people that haven't put in the time to learn the language. And me personally, I haven't put out a lot of music, but because I can speak the language, I've made connections with people that are willing to help me and put my music out on different platforms, just because I can communicate and get my ideas and everything I'm trying to do out here, I can get it across to a Japanese person.
I want to bring people together of like minds, but not just black people, but the illustration of a black person being involved, to me, is enough to show another black person that they can do it.
I feel like black people, we have to do a better job at painting the picture for ourselves. Stop letting other individuals paint the picture for us. I want to see us out here more, because what Japan has shown me is that the youth, they accept change. They're ready to break barriers that were never broken in Japan before.
It has been very interesting. I learned a lot about myself first. So far, all I can say is that it was worth it. It was at times very difficult, because you do feel like you're not at home.
We get a lot of opportunity, especially when it comes to African Americans in this country.
Being here has made me want to really lead by example a lot more through my music. They're trying to put on a character and live a lifestyle that's going on in the hip-hop scene in America, but at the same time, it goes deeper than what's on the surface, and just try to let people know, yo, this is what's really real.
Being here alone has allowed me to meet black people from Europe, for instance, who it never really crossed my mind that they are a different, dimension of black culture. It's not just mine. They didn't grow up eating the things that I ate, listening to the music that I listened to, but it's no less black for them as well. You got to get out of your comfort zone to get exposed to that. The more we connect and hit on these global parts, then we can start to permeate our local areas with the knowledge that we picked up from each other. And that's how we change the face of that one-dimensional black person.